The Democrat Party is in disarray, and they're pulling out every stop to try to scare their voter base.
Bendito Hakeem Jeffrey. He knows he's losing, but he has to try and convince you that the Democrats are winning. They're going to flip the House. That's what they keep on telling us. He's counting on California, but he doesn't want to acknowledge Texas, Louisiana, Alabama, Florida, Virginia that just went back. We hear you, we see you, and we are left wanting.
And they're pulling out every stop to try to scare their voter base that some kind of magical oppression is hovering over them. And then you look at Tennessee. They are losing their minds in Tennessee. You look at people like Justin Pearson, who is a clown in blackface, okay? Because 1 minute he started as a well-talking black person, college educated. Now all of a sudden he's Malcolm X and Martin Luther King had a child. This shit is hilarious. And one thing I do know is that Democrats, they buy and they dress up their constituents. The people that they select and put out there, like the Jasmine Crockett's and the Hakeem Jeffries and the Justin Pearsons, these people are handcrafted by the Democrat Party because they play the part well, they love to push victimhood, and then they always gotta act as though they are under oppression, because that is what sells in the Democrat Party. That is what wins votes. Okay, you look at people like Kamala Harris, who was not black. She was an Indian. Now all of a sudden she's a black woman and she has all these different accents.
Yes, what makes Democrats panic the more is the fact that Trump is still very powerful in the Republican Party. I don't know if you've seen this. Bill Cassidy went from an incumbent U.S. Senator running for a third term to finishing third in his primary and failing to qualify for a runoff. This is perhaps the most humiliating thing to happen to an American politician since Liz Cheney was. You saw what happened to her. The lesson in both cases is that voting to impeach Trump is not a winning career strategy for a Republican in deep red state. This guy sided with Democrat, I don't know, a few years ago to impeach Trump. And he thought people have forgotten about that. He was just voted out. Watching CNN a few days ago, they made it clear, if you are a Republican, you go against Trump, this is exactly what you will receive. Trump is now celebrating, and a lot of people on X about this.
You and I got to serve in the Congress for a little while, but my question for you is still about Donald Trump. I mean, knowing what you know now about the farce that was put forward to the American people and the Congress, knowing what you know now, would you still vote to actually convict Donald Trump of the charges that he was put up for?
Reporters always love to ask that question. I'm a doctor. You give me all the information I can, I make a decision, I move on. I don't keep on going back, oh, what happened 5 years ago? I'm thinking about what's going to happen 5 years from now.
With all due respect,
or tonight.
You just talked
Hang on,
about
Jason, let me finish. Let me finish, Jason.
Years. You just touted everything you've done for the last 5 years. Why can't you answer that question? Did you or did you not?
Hey, Jason,
knowing
if I
what
can
you
finish,
know now,
Jason,
no,
if I can,
I want you to answer that question. Would you or would you not actually vote to convict, knowing what you know now? It's a simple question.
Yeah, Jason, you may go back and flagellate yourself over decisions in the past. I do not. I move on. By the way, what I'm talking about is not just the present, it is the future. By the way, the future also includes that if somebody wants somebody working for the state of Louisiana, for the future, not fixated on the past, then polls close at 8 o'clock tonight. Get out there and vote. But by the way, I will continue to vote for the future of Louisiana, working well with President Trump and anyone else. I'm about the future.
Lost a primary since 2012. It's been 14 years. Richard Lugar in Indiana in 2012 lost a Republican primary to Richard Murdoch. I believe his name was Richard Murdoch, right? Let's hope it was. He beat Lugar in 2012. That's the last time that again, I say elected. There was an appointed incumbent in Alabama who lost in 2017. But the last time, this is, Cassidy is somebody who has won this seat twice, 2014 and 2020. And it is getting harder and harder for the math that we're showing you to see how he could catch Fleming here. And does it need to be said? But again, if Cassidy were somehow to leapfrog Fleming and just eke his way into that runoff, he then has to turn around. He would do it with, 28, 29, 30% of the vote? He would then have to go into the runoff with Letlow and win an outright majority. Is there anything in these numbers tonight that suggests Cassidy can win an outright majority of Republican primary voters? Is there anything that we've seen in Indiana in these other primaries that we have been tracking here where the candidates who run afoul of Trump in the way that Cassidy has, in the way that those state legislators did in Indiana?
This is what Trump put out on a congratulations to Congresswoman Julia on a fantastic race, beating an incumbent senator by record-setting numbers. This is the first time in history that a sitting senator has lost by such a large numbers in a primary, unable to even go forward. Julia is a fantastic person, and after taking care of some additional business, will make a brilliant senator for the great people of Louisiana, a state that I love, help make prosperous with my energy policies and everything else, and won 6 times in a row, including primary. Julia is a spectacular person and will never let you down, President Donald J. Trump. You can clearly see how every person is celebrating that this man is out. Looking at the question they are asking him, he's unable to respond. It baffles me sometimes why these people do that. 5 years ago, he thought he would just do this and maybe by now people will forget about everything. But it get crazy. A sitting senator being knocked out at this stage. That's to tell you he has lost support to a level one can't even imagine. It get crazy, right? What is shocking some of these politicians is the fact that they thought by now Trump will not be this popular, like his decisions will not be taken serious by people in different states, especially the red state. Reason, you see, some are very shocked at this moment to see that if Trump endorsed someone, he ends up winning. Yeah. This is something they should realize. This man did this 5 years ago. Maybe by now he thought everything was cool. Like maybe Trump has forgiven him. Reason, he did that. But looking at things, nothing is okay. Trump still has that in his mind and he is angry. Reason, you see him celebrating that they knocked this guy out so easily. This is not the first case. We've had cases where people who went against Trump are suffering as a result of their crazy decision to go against him.
Republicans and put their more power.
Yeah, there's been sort of 2 Democratic responses. The first is hers. And after years of hearing Donald Trump is going to destroy the Constitution and undermine the very fabric of our society, now in order to protect the Constitution, we need to expand the court
game and give himself more Republican.
I think I'm going to end here. God bless you abundantly. As of the short clips at the end, that is for the white algorithm. You can always skip.
The sight of this man just disgusts me.
They need to go to New York and get those extra seats. They need to redistrict. They need to redistrict in a couple of states.
Not represent the black community.
It's illegal to live on the sidewalk.
Right. Spencer Pratt, who's running for mayor of Los Angeles.
Who's doing a great job.
Unable to laugh at him.
Inside, they started.
It'll be
more access to the leader of the free world.
This week, which was the state of Virginia, they gerrymandered the state. And I hate to sound like a 5-year-old, but Trump started it.
The win in yesterday's redistricting.
It's going to lose their congressional representation. How do you think?
Until the First Lady brought them back with her surprise statement last week.
How does this benefit?
An actor. I'm an actor.
I'm an actor.
Creative content.
Why are you not looking forward to the White House fight?
Well, it's kind of a gimmick.
I have 300.
Well, I said Democratic Socialist.
I know, but
Also, I have to say,
we don't even have the trust of our own people.
To the Florida Republicans is F around and find out.
That we're just getting in from the Commonwealth of
States are doing what I have no plans